what did Mike do? Talk us through the bits.
There's a funny video out there somewhere. He's like got the ball, he's about to give it to me, and then he pulls away last minute, and I'm just there like, no, please play on my ball. The two left with all the players and everyone, and it was just me and Rafa with the coaching staff on the way back.
Did you lot sit next to each other?
We're just across from each other, yeah, but it was like, all right. I think Rafa was watching Avatar or something, and
We're getting a real insight here.
Stu was giving me a lot of stick today because he's like, oh, you should have squared it to me. I was on.
This is the official Leeds United podcast.
After Sunday's game, there's only one man that could join us on the podcast. The man who guaranteed the win at the London Stadium, Jerry Bowen! I'm only joking, it's Jatrick Harrison!
Well, thank you guys for having me.
Do you know what? Yeah, it's an honour to have you join us, Jack, because I imagine you have been inundated with requests after your performance at the weekend, haven't you?
Yeah, it's been quite a lot, but it's always nice to do these ones, something different. So I'm happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Was there something in the air at the weekend for you, Jack? Because from the moment the game started, we all in the pub went, he's on something today. He's up for this.
Yeah, I don't know. I've just been trying to do a couple of things different from the start of this season, and just maybe change my mentality a little bit, just approaching some games, and it seems to be working so far. Worked against Burnley. I had a goal against Burnley, and we had a result there as well, and happened to have a result in the last game as well. So I'm just hoping it continues.
Well, it's certainly doing the job, Jack. Let's put it that way. I want to ask you about that change in mentality in a moment, but just to let the listeners know, we are going to be finding out about how people can win your shirt from the West Ham game, aren't we? Shortly, you're going to explain to us how people can get involved with that, with donations going to charity. Is that right?
Yeah, there'll be. I want to give my shirt away. I'm going to sign it and give it away to a lucky fan. But I want to try and raise as much money as I can for charity. And there'll be more details about this on the website. And I'm sure the club will explain more to all the fans on how they can access my shirt. But yeah, it's just something I wanted to do as, you know, a big stepping stone in my career, and just to give back to all the fans and the support that they showed me after the game, singing my name. It was just really, really nice to see. And yeah, I just wanted to give back a little bit.
Well, I think it's going to be in high demand, that shirt, Jack. Put it that way.
I hope so. I hope I can raise some money for charity as well.
We hope so too. And like you say, all of the details will be on the Leeds United website. We'll make sure of that. Just on that change in mentality, Jack, what is that change in mentality?
I've been working with someone just to kind of approach games a little bit differently. I think at the start of the season, I struggled a lot, and I've just continued working and on things that I thought I knew was working for me before, and I think I just got caught up in too many negatives and thinking more about this than trying to find positive ways to think about things that I was doing in the game and stuff like that. So I've been talking with someone recently to open my mind up a little bit more, try and focus more on the positives and what more about the reasons why I was doing so well before last season, and what was I actually doing to achieve this, and just kind of being more specific on my game in particular, and then just trying to replicate these things throughout the week in training, trying to get in the right mindset, and just through repetition throughout training, you can really start. It's crazy what you can do with the mind when you start thinking more positively instead of focusing on the negatives and, oh, I should have done this, I should have done that. I was just trying to think, okay, you know, what can I do now? What's worked for me so far, and just being more positive about things. I think it has a massive impact.
There's one thing that I've sort of talked about all season with this team, and I've talked about it again in the pub yesterday, is that, you know, individually there's been a few players that perhaps haven't hit their best form this year. And yet it's never, ever been for lack of trying. This entire team, even when it's not been working out, we've all been trying and give everything that they've got, and yourself included. And obviously that has shown at the weekend just the fruits of that labour. And I was just wondering, is that something you collectively work on? Was that a choice when it came to making signings? Do you think there's a thought with signings of getting people who are going to come and work really, really hard off the pitch when it's not going so well, or is it just a fluke? Have you just got a bunch of players who just really want to work hard for each other?
To be honest, I think Victor does, a brilliant job of getting the right people for the right job, and obviously Marcelo has his people that he likes as well. So I think it's probably a little bit of a mix of everything. I don't think you can come here and play with a big ego or have the wrong mentality, because it can be so demanding here if you're not willing to work together, work hard together as a group, and do the hard work first before anything else, then the methodology is not going to work. So it's a key component to this team and how we play. And yeah, I don't think someone could come in and not be willing to work hard first more than anything. It just wouldn't work.
Jack, just as an extension of that, because we talk week in, week out on the official Leeds United podcast about how mentally where you're at is really the most important thing, because you can be as physically fit as you like, and obviously all you boys are, but mentally if you're not there, it's just not going to click. What is it like amongst your teammates? Are you honest with each other amongst yourselves? You were saying you've spoken to someone and been a bit more open off the back of it. You've understood your mindset. Do you share those feelings with each other? Do you have that kind of relationship?
Yeah, I think, to be honest, I think it's a great group of lads that we have here. We have, the leaders in the group, Luke Haley, Stuart Dallas, Coops, and Forshaw, all these guys, they're great leaders of the group, and they show like a good level of professionalism throughout anything. So whether it's going good or going bad, they're always trying to get the team going again. And it's great to have these people in the team. It's so important. I think, especially if you look at some of the periods that we've had so far this season, it could be so easy to get down on ourselves and get caught in this kind of black hole and just going round and round in a circle of negative thoughts and stuff. But you have these guys that kind of maintain the level and the mentality throughout the good times and the bad times as well. And I mean, even today, I was coming in, and when we're all super high because we've come off a win, they're like making jokes and making sure we're not getting too far ahead. So no, it's good to have these people, but I think just in general, all the players in this team are all level-headed and have a good head on their shoulders, willing to work for the team before anything.
Jack, I'm sure Jermaine has got questions to ask for you as well, but just on that. If anyone ever does get above their station, please send Matt and Jermaine in, because they manage to bring Pat down a peg or two all the time. Don't you, boys?
Every time, mate. Every time. There's no prisoners.
Sorry, Matt.
I think that's why he's hiding from
No,
us.
but see, now he's not playing, and obviously we need him back to be scoring goals. So when he comes on next, you have to give him a lot of confidence. So.
Yes. You got to give him a boost, boys.
You don't know how he turns up on this show, Jack. You don't. He comes in here giving it all. Guy's a nightmare. Guy's a nightmare, mate.
Oh well, you guys know better than me. Then maybe you need to knock him down.
I did want to ask. I don't want to dwell on it actually, because you've had such a fantastic last couple of games, and I want to get into that. But just I think it is really interesting because we're always trying to discover what this question of form, like what is it? I mean, it's this unanswerable conundrum, isn't it, of form? But you know how good
you keep asking. We know what it is, you keep asking that question.
In terms of you know how good you are, and yet players still go through these kind of these periods of form, and you just go, does it get frustrating? Do you start to go, what is it that I'm not doing the same as I was doing a month ago? And the question I've got is, do you collectively as players, you say you're all really, you're really tight with each other, great leaders. Do you talk about that, or is it still a very personal journey you have to go on?
I think it depends on the player, really. I'm quite an introvert, really. I keep a lot of things to myself, and especially things like that, I get quite frustrated with myself. I probably should talk about it more. I think it's important that you can talk about it, but it depends on the player as well. For me, I was so frustrated at the start of the season. It was, you're going 15 games without scoring a goal, and as an attacking player, I want to be involved in as much as possible in the attacking play. And like you said, I believe in my ability, and I know I have quality. It's just being able to show it on a consistent basis, which is this conundrum you're talking about, and how it can be so hard to replicate. Every week is, why can't he do that every week? And it's difficult. It's really difficult as a player, but I think that's where like the mental stability side comes in, and you have support from around you, good resources, and just trying to build on that level of consistency. It's been difficult for me. I'm obviously still learning about it now, but the one thing I never stop doing is I always continue working hard. I always try to have the right attitude and show up every day in training. And I think it's difficult for fans to see that sometimes, because I know for a fact there's been a lot of fans that have been frustrated with me this season, and you know, I don't blame them as fans. You know, you want to see your players doing well, and when they're not, it's like, well, why is he not doing it? Is he not trying, or is he not doing this? But I can tell you right now, it's not for lack of trying at all. It's just how it goes sometimes as a football player. You go through ups and downs, and it's just how you react and come back out on top. And that's what I've been trying to do all season. Is, you know, I've just been continually working hard on different things and just trying to find different solutions to these problems that I've been having. And, you know, thankfully it's turned around this year, and I'm just hoping now that I can continue it on. And if it doesn't, then I'll have to find another solution. You know, it's part of being a footballer, and it can be tough trying to, you know, manage that with the expectations from the fans and everybody else around, because it's not like you want to do bad, you know. All the players want to play well. It's sometimes it doesn't happen, and it's just about how you can react and move on to the next one.
But people often forget there's 11 other players on the other team trying to stop you playing as well. You know, people often forget that. So it's like you have to, you know, and you can never fault this team for lack of trying. I think I stand by that.
Yeah, no, definitely. I would agree.
So would you say, obviously, your time in America, you got to work with some amazing football players, some amazing coaches as well. Would you say any of those guys in particular during your early years as a professional helped you in terms of building that mental strength, that mental resilience that you were briefly talking about?
Yeah,
there?
Definitely. I mean, even now, sometimes I get messages from David and Frank, and I can reach out to them about advice or something. And they're such nice guys, are always willing to help me out. And you know, with any problem like this, I would always ask them when I was in New York, because I was young. I just wanted to learn as much as I could from these guys. And it was only 2 years I played with them, but you know, I tried to absorb as much as possible. And I would say Frank 100% has, you know, a brilliant mentality when it comes to these kind of things. He told me that, you know, when you walk on the pitch, you have to tell yourself, you know, you're the best player on the pitch, even if you're not. Just tell yourself this in your head, and you know, that's why he was so successful. Not the only reason, but one of the reasons is his mentality with Frank is unbelievable, and just being able to replicate that every week, and you know, he was able to show his quality. So I've tried to have this in my mind, but for me, I don't want to be seen as someone overconfident, or, you know, I don't want to be knocked down a couple of pegs or having to get knocked down. So I always try to limit myself, and I downplay a lot of things, because I don't like too much all the hype and all the talk.
You don't like that show, the show,
It is difficult, but he told me that was, you know, one thing that I was going through a tough time again in New York, and I went and reached out to him and asked him that, and he gave me that advice. And the same with David as well. He said, you know, as a striker, you're always going to go through these periods where you're not scoring and you don't know why, but it's just focusing on the next one, on the next one, on the next one. And it's difficult. It's really hard to do as a player, and it's, you know, credit to them because they did it at the highest level. But I've just been trying to think about these things and trying to, you know, implement it into what I'm doing as well.
Do you know what? One of my favorite things to do is when you're going through situations like that, just take a back seat and just pick individual moments. So live for the individual moments. Don't think about what's going to happen in 10 minutes time, 15 minutes time, half time. Just the very next play, the very next set piece, the very next moment the ball comes to you. That's how I obviously went through, as you mentioned there. You go through times, you go through periods in your career where you struggle a little bit and things aren't necessarily working for you. But I found the best way for me personally to get through those difficult times were to take it one moment at a time. And that sounds exactly
just
like
being present.
What
it's so important. I think a lot of people talk about this in meditation as well, something that I've been trying to do, at the start of the season, they always talk about being present and being in the moment, and it's exactly that, and it works for some people in different cases as well, and obviously it worked for you too. So, I would agree with that 100%.
So if you phoned me, I would have given you the same advice as David and Frank. I'm just saying, I'm a lot closer.
Yeah, we can do that next time. Hopefully, I won't have to do it for the end of the season. But if I do, I'll reach out to you for sure.
100%. I'm ready.
But Jack, in the sense of being present, after you came off the pitch after that game at the weekend, what was that feeling like? Knowing I've just scored my first hat-trick in the Premier League for Leeds United, being in that moment, how did that feel for you?
So yeah, after the game, that's when it really hit me that I just scored my first hat trick. It was actually Rafa that reminded me. He was like, "Jack, here's the ball," and he gave it to the referees, and Mike Dean did his thing, and it was funny.
Go on, talk us through it. What did Mike Dean do? Talk us through the bits.
There's a funny video out there somewhere. He's like, got the ball, he's about to give it to me, and then he pulls away last minute, and I'm just there like, no, please, can I have my ball? It's like when you're in school, you're like a young kid, you're playing with the older kids, and they steal your ball. He's like, can I have my ball back, please? Like, but yeah, once I had the ball and I was walking all of my teammates, obviously coming over so happy and saying congratulations, that was just really nice. Put a massive smile on my face, and the camera's following me around like this, and I'm like, oh god, like just act normal. It's literally right in my face. It's so awkward. Do I look at it? Do I do something or not? And it just kept following me around. And then I went to go thank the fans for they were amazing at the game, just continuously loud the whole game. And as I was walking over, singing my name, and it was just such a special moment for me. It really like touched my heart, because it's not been like a particular moment, like specifically where I've just walked over and they're just singing my name. It's an incredible feeling, and that's another reason why I wanted to do the giveaway shirt was for that as well. And it just really hit me hard how much support they showed, particularly towards me at the end of the game, and it's just a special moment. And then ever since then, it's just been nonstop on the phone and just messages from people who I've always spoken to a long time, and it's just really nice moments to share with family and friends, and just have a lot of people messaging you. It's always a good feeling after something like that.
And what was the feeling like in camp with all your teammates afterwards? Because fans were absolutely elated. It was one heck of a performance. But for you and the boys afterwards, that must have been incredible, Jack.
Yeah, it was an incredible win, but I couldn't really celebrate with everyone because I had to do doping after the game. I had the drug testing.
So what happens if you score a hat-trick? He's definitely doping him. Gotta go.
Exactly. I was thinking the same thing. He's like, I haven't been tested, not once, all season. And then when I score a hat-trick, he's on something. So I just had to go to this room. It was just me and Raphinha in the room, and we're just waiting there. Eventually, we had to go back and get treatment. We saw everybody, and it was nice. And everybody gave me a big clap when I walked in, and it's just nice moments. Not only to get a hat trick, but such a huge win for the team, and it was massive for us. We really needed the 3 points, and to have come away with that, that was a better feeling for me being with everyone than anything else that day, really. So it was a good accomplishment for the team, and it was just super. Everyone was just super happy, which is good. But I didn't get to celebrate on the bus on the way back because me and Rafa were the last ones, because after drug testing, you're always the last one out. So everybody left, and it was just me and Rafa on the bus, and that was it. So
they left you there?
Yeah, because we had 3 coaches because of COVID and everything. So the 2 left with all the players and everyone, and it was just me and Rafa with the coaching staff on the way back.
Did you lot sit next to each other?
We're just across from each other, yeah, but it was like, all right. I think Rafa was watching Avatar or something. And
We're getting a real insight here, aren't we, Jack?
Yeah, no, I figured it is nice because you don't hear about these stories.
No, that's it. It's interesting how you unwind after a game. Just watch Avatar. Like it.
What, yeah.
What did you watch?
On Avatar.
What did you?
What I want to ask about the third goal itself, because for me it was like in slow motion. I mean that ball through was on a dime for you, but it was just like everything about it was oh my God, is he gonna? And then your composure was just sublime to just lift that over the keeper. It was that. Did you feel like, because at that moment you scored 2, you're on cloud 9 already? Did you just have all the time in the world for that, or was it just?
It was crazy because it was such. I thought the pass was going to come around the back, so I was kind of hanging back a bit. And then when he threaded it through that little space, perfectly weighted, everything, it was a brilliant ball. I was like, I've got to get there, and I saw the keeper running out, but I didn't really think about what I was doing. It was more of an instinct thing, and I think for me, these are the moments where always something good happens is when I'm not thinking, or it's just instinctually doing it. So it was like a blurry moment again. The keeper was coming out and I had to get it over him, but not soft enough so then the defenders could clear it off the line. And so it was just an instinct thing. I didn't think too much about it. I just tried to place it in the back of the net. But Stu was giving me a lot of stick today because he's like, you should have squared it to me, I was on.
Square it to me, I was on.
And Jack, there's been a lot of talk about the youngsters who've been given an opportunity because of injuries, COVID, etc. How is that for you as one of the sort of senior players? How do you find it? Do you help them? Do they come to you for advice?
Does that feel weird hearing that you're one of the senior players?
Senior player, like, getting on a bit now. No, I think it's always difficult as a young player because they're usually quite quiet and they stick to themselves, and it can be tough for them to approach players. But I always try to be nice with the young guys and offer a lot of support because that's what I had, when I was in New York and with Frank and David, just having that support and that ability just to approach them and talk about anything. It was key for me, really. And I want to make sure that the young guys can come to me and talk about anything. And, I spent a lot of time with Cree as well. Somerville is a brilliant young player, but I try to talk to him about, a lot of different things and mentality and other things just to try and help him out as well, because as a winger playing in the same position, he is a great young talent, and I want to help him as much as possible. Same with Leo and Lewis. They came into the game and stepped up massively. It's not easy coming into the first team with the expectations and the speed of play, the physicality can be completely different to 23s football, and they've been showing it. Week in, week out. In when we do our murder ball sessions, they always shine in on the other team for the 23s, and they deserve this opportunity. They've worked really hard for it, and they have the ability to do it as well. So it's unfortunate that we're getting so many injuries, and we've not had the players that we thought we would have for the full season like we were fortunate enough last year. But fair play to the young lads. They've really stepped up and fulfilled these positions that is not easy to fulfill at all, and they've done a great job.
Jack, Luke Ayling has spoken about how Marcelo Bielsa has helped the young players so much. How has he helped and impacted you in your time at Leeds?
I think the first thing for me is he focuses so much on the detail, and as a winger, I never really thought about it before, but all the different movements that you can make to free yourself from your man, and it allows you to beat your man without even receiving the ball, really. So you can receive the ball in better positions or have more time away from your man or create space for another teammate as well. These movements are so important for all the attacking players, and I never really done as much work as that as when I came here. So I think as a winger, that's something that's really helped me out. But I think in terms of the amount of detail that he demands from his players and in drills and stuff, the ball has to spin this way and not this way, or it has to be the timing of things has to be really specific. The touches, everything. We do this crossing drill, and we have like 3 lines, and the first line we have to hit it to the first post. The second line has to be a bit further. so you have to hit it to the second post, and the third line is quite close to the byline, so you have to cut it back. So it's really, really, really specific. The amount of detail is incredible. And, I think this is why a lot of the managers around the world, see him as one of the best to manage the game, is just through the amount of detail that he puts into every little thing. And he does this for everywhere. I was just talking about, things that I do as an attacker. He does the same thing for midfielders, same thing for defenders. And there's just an incredible amount of detail.
Do you when you first came in and you're all there and you're suddenly having to do this different training that you've never done before, I can totally imagine that there's some players that will probably like, bloody hell, we don't need all this. What's the point in doing all this? But you all lot seem to totally 100% buy into it. Is that something again that, like, going forward with signings and stuff, we just got to make sure we get players like you guys? Because I can totally see that a lot of players and coaching staff even would be like, what's the point in doing all this? Do we need to make it this minute? But it clearly shows on the pitch. So
yeah, I mean, it's something, after the first year, it was really hard to adapt to because it was so different and nobody had ever, seen anything like it before. But, I think when you look at the first year, we were really unfortunate to come out of playoffs but our playing style was better. People, we showed promise in the way we were playing and people noticed that something was working. So then when we came back for the second season, everybody knew what to expect anyway. It was going to be the same, and everybody was on the same page. And I think, when players buy into the methodology and you get everyone on the same page, working hard and to the same goal in the same way as well, it can really be effective. And, I think that's what we did last year as well. And it's been difficult this year because we've had different players in and a lot of injuries and facing a lot of adversity. But, the mentality and the message has still been the same. And we always want to play the same way, no matter who we play against. But we've shown in the past that it can work. And I think, like you said, when players do come in, they need to, have this in mind that, okay, this is going to be hard. It's going to be demanding, but you just have to keep with the mentality and stay with it. And it will come and you will settle eventually. But it's just a little time period that it takes for players to come in. It's not easy playing here, but if you can, then you can play anywhere really.
Do you know what? That's a great point. A lot of players, obviously, over the last couple of seasons, have seen exactly how Leeds United play, how we operate, how we set up, the work ethic, the work rate, the mentality, the mindset, etc. So they already know what they're signing up for, and they know for a fact if they sign and they're not prepared to put in the work and try as hard as they see everybody else, they're not going to be playing, and they won't get the best out of themselves. Exactly. You lot of your levels have bounced up so many notches just because you've bought into everything that Bielsa said and the method, the style of play and the mindset of the big man up top.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think, like you said, people know what they're signing up for when you come here and you're playing for a Bielsa team. You know what you're getting yourself into, and when you do buy into it, you can the limits are endless. Marcelo's always pushing players to break their limits and continue improving and continue developing, and it's always been about that.
When we're in the championship and you obviously, as footballers, professional footballers, you must have an incredible sense of self-confidence. I know you said that you're not an overtly big-time guy around the club, but you must have...
Sounds like you, mate.
Yeah, absolutely. You've got an innate sense of self-belief because you have to play football at that level. But did you even think that you as players collectively could achieve the standard that you are now playing at? I mean, you've all come so far. Did you truly think that you could elevate to the level you're at now?
What, me personally, or as a team?
Well, both actually.
I think for me personally, I'd always aspired to play in the Premier League, and if I continue working on certain things and improving on the quality side and everything, and I knew that I can play there. It's somewhere where I want to be. It's what's driven me to this point now, and I think as a team, it's hard to say where the limits are. Really, I think we've always been. I think, well, you guys know, as a club, we're very ambitious. We want to always reaching for the the best thing possible. And I think even in the championship, when after the first season, people know, okay, yeah, we can definitely get promoted and we can go to the Premier League and we can surprise people in the Premier League in the first year as well. And just by the way we play, and I think we've done exactly that. So it's just continuing on with that belief in ourselves as individuals and as a team as well. And there's no reason why we shouldn't be able to finish top 10 or even make Europe, or it's the outcomes are endless. It's just up to us how we do it and how we conduct ourselves to do it, really.
And Jack, you're only a few appearances away from 150 appearances for Leeds. And I know you're not overly confident or anything, and you're a humble guy, but that must be a pretty good feeling.
Yeah, it's incredible. Like I'm always working hard to play every game, and I want to play every game and do my best every time. So it's incredible. I haven't really thought about it, to be honest, the 150, because I feel like wasn't too long ago when it was 100 appearances, I think, away at Everton last season. So it's gone so quickly. It's almost too quickly.
Yeah.
But no, it's an incredible achievement. Obviously, most of my appearances were on loan, so this season to actually be part of the club and I don't know. I don't want to say earn it, because it's I've played here a long time now, but it's to finally be here and just be for the club and nobody else, really. It's a good feeling.
Yeah, I think you earned it, mate.
Yeah.
I think you earned it.
It's just funny because 3 years on loan is like unheard of at the same club. It's like, all right, like.
And Jack, on your Instagram, it's clear how much you love your mum. How much do you credit her to your success? What kind of impact has your mum had on you?
Yeah, I mean, I have all of my success to thank to her, really. Without her stepping out the box when I was 12, 13, to think of other options, to go to the US and find a different pathway that could be more beneficial and in life, not only with football. And yeah, without her, none of this would have happened, really. So I have to thank her for everything, and I always will do. And she's even there for me now, always messaging in games and yeah, she's always going to be like my biggest support there. So I have to thank her for everything.
What did she say after the hat-trick at the weekend, Jack?
To be honest, she normally texts after the game, and she didn't text. I was like, that's a bit strange. But I was seeing her the next day because she looked after my dog for the weekend. So I went to see her, and she said, she's like, "Hi, Neo," like she from the Matrix. She called me Neo from the Matrix. She always sends this gift where he's like this or something, and is like this,
That's brilliant.
Like you're the one. So, is that it?
Yeah. So she said, "Hi, Neo," the next day. I was like, all right, okay, yeah, you saw like.
That's amazing. That's brilliant. Something that I do want you to tell us whether it's true or not. Is it true that you used to sleepwalk trying to find your football when you were a kid?
Yeah, 100%. I'm a big sleepwalker, sleep talker, very active in my sleep. The one time that I'm talking about, my mom was coming up the stairs one time at night. I was really young, and she saw me on the like the landing, and she said, "What are you doing? What are you doing?" I said, "Shh, I'm just going to chip it in." I was taking a free kick in my dreams. Yeah.
Did you chip it in top corner? Was it in?
I hope so. Yeah, I don't know. I can't remember. Which I just sent me back to bed after that.
That is a man that quite literally lives, breathes, and dreams football.
Jeez.
That is amazing. We will let you go in a second, Jack. But obviously, Patrick, when he can be bothered, makes his appearance on the official Leeds United podcast. We want some insight on him as a teammate. What's he like?
He's a funny guy. Obviously, he's confident. When he comes on here, he's confident. He distills that throughout his training as well. He is a funny character, likes to joke around with everyone, but he is very supportive as well. He came to me today and congratulated me and everything. We were talking about, things he did last year for when he scored the hat-trick as well. So He's a great teammate to have, very confident, but as a striker, I feel like you're going to get that anyway. He scores a lot of goals, so he has it to back it up.
Well, you're giving him competition now, Jack, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we'll see.
Actually on the pitch doing the business.
Yeah, you'll have to knock it down a few pegs next week for me then. So.
No, don't worry, we will.
Jack, just very finally before we let you go, can we expect a hat-trick against Newcastle?
Wow. I would love to have one. Like I said, I always want to do the best I can. So if I can get a hat-trick, that would be amazing. I can't guarantee it, unfortunately, but I'll definitely be trying.
Oh, what an absolute pleasure you have been, Jack Harrison. Thank you so much for joining us.
This is the official Leeds United podcast.